American Muslims for Palestine raised the Palestinian flag this afternoon at Daley Plaza. They say they wanted to show solidarity with those who've been suffering since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. And they say the flag raising symbolizes the Palestinian people finding unity in adversity.
All right. Do you feel unity with I don't know, Hamas, people that kidnap, rape, and do the horrible things that were done? You feel solidarity there? Does jihad and intifada, does that work with America? Does that work with our background? It really doesn't. It really doesn't. That flag raised equal or higher than the American flag. Some people were telling it was higher. Others were saying it was equal. But that flag raised in Chicago, man, the police state here. Anyway, hi, how are you? I'm Man Cal Muller from Suicide Falls, Missouri. Had a radio show, been in a couple of movies, had a hit segment on the Fox News channel for many years. And if you're new to me, well, then howdy do. How are you? Na, 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 and a cha-cha-cha, or whatever Grouch used to say. Hey, nani, nani, and a cha-cha. That's what he used to say. And this is a lovely evening for a night. And here we are. So, hell yeah. Yeah. Really? Okay. Grapes are crushed. Diamonds are made possible through pressure. Olives are pressed for the most delicious olive oil. I'm married to an Italian. I live on olive oil. Seeds grow in the darkness. And so what about you? What's bringing forth your transformation right now? I hope you're going through some transformation. I had a woman at church say to me, I'm going through some stuff, and I was sharing it with her. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful that Jesus is just putting all these obstacles in your way, and that you're being censored and shadow banned? Isn't it wonderful? So that makes you fight harder, and you're purified through all that. And I, all the same, thank you for that. That sounded awful. But anyway, right by the microphone. But anyway, guy over here working on the cable. Not the cable, a cable. Anyway, I don't even know where I was now. But it's like that Simpsons moment where there's a pause and someone goes, just sounds horrible. Anyway, no, but just think, hey, isn't it great? That means God's working on you, that you have trouble. Yeah, I'd like God to take a bit of a break on America and on me and on you. And then there's the guy in the flip-flops and the shorts with his nuts hanging out coming over to say hi to me at church. Hey, neighbor, how are you? I know it's the new modern skinny jeans, fog machines, get rich if you go to church kind of mentality, and I'm just not there anymore, if I ever was. And I really find it offensive that some slob would wear flip-flops to church and come over to me, Man Cal. You know what I'm saying. And loud people in church, by the way. I also want to mention that real quick, okay? When I was on the radio, I got in trouble every time I talked about church. Certainly if I said Jesus, that was offensive. And I don't mean in a blasphemous way. I mean if I mention Jesus in the terms of church. But, hallelujah, yeah. It's demonic. Oh, my wife says, they just want to express themselves. Yeah, I know they want to express themselves in movie theaters too. How about shut up? And, that's right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, shut up. And I'm telling you, I think it's demonic. And whatever they think, they're wrong. Shut up. You're in church. I want to hear. And I find it very distracting. And I think God puts those people there, or the other side puts people there to be annoying as shit and to drown out the message. So did you see the Islamic types walking out of the Seinfeld? Now, I first of all, I have to say they have good taste in comedy. I agree with you, Islamists. I've never found Jerry Seinfeld funny. I know that's blasphemy. But what bastards? Because he's Jewish? Is he the biggest comedian on earth? One of the biggest? And you walk out because he's Jewish? I mean, I can see walking out on Cosby back in the day because he was a rapist or whatever it is he did, but because he's black, can you imagine how the media would play that? This is at Duke University. They got Seinfeld, and the Islamic types walked out because he was a Jew. Are you okay with that? Biden got 18 people to show up. He walked by a bake sale. Half of the people across the street were yelling, about Brandon, and Joe doesn't know what's going on. He just wanted an ice cream cone. And I had a friend today, Von Freeman. I feel sorry for that poor tottering old man. I don't. I think he's very much in control. I think he's very much, yes, Obama's pulling strings, but this guy's leading us into slavery, gas prices, mortgage, everything is jacked up under this guy. I don't feel sorry for him at all. He's a real danger to us. And this idea that, old Joe, I don't feel that way. Meanwhile, they said 80,000. My mom and dad fell in love in Wildwood, New Jersey, and I've spent several summers there. I know the area well. 200,000 was what people were telling me. That's what the locals were saying, of course, on CNN. It's 80,000. Meanwhile, Biden has nobody. And I saw it when I did an Open the State rally here in Chicago and an anti-Pritzker rally, which became anti-Semitic. It was anti-Jewish. And I didn't have any idea. I couldn't figure it out how it was anti-Semitic. And they filmed it from a mile away. And they didn't really show anything. It's just there's a little something downtown. And we had many thousands, I would say tens of thousands of people. And, if Jesse Jackson, who I like as a guy, he's a baiter, but he has 5 people show up. It used to be front page news. Where am I going with this? So we did this thing. How was it? I finally called Amy Jacobson. She said, well, the governor's Jewish. So anything you say then is anti-Jewish. So not where I am. Not there at all. Been accused of being Jewish. Good luck with the name Mueller. Good luck. But, I don't want the extermination of those people. I don't want their country destroyed. The clown show. I don't care who's doing it, who's doing the clown show. Biden, get him out of here. And by the way, I didn't like George W. Bush's big government. You may remember that. I didn't like Obama's big government. I don't like big government. I want them out of my life. I don't know who goes to the DMV, who goes to the post office, who goes to the library, who deals with anybody in the government and says, yeah, I want more of that. I want them in control of our currency. I want them in control of our food. I want them in control of every aspect of our life. Someone today called me and said that they're putting nanotechnology in Coke and Sprite so they can track who's drinking how much where via your body. That can't be true, can it? Anyway, Islamic Obama let the hordes in. There's now places in America you can't go to. I'll just say maybe you can go. I didn't feel safe there, okay? And I'm talking about Minnesota and Minneapolis and, a few places in that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the hordes were let in. And this Trojan horse is much bigger than we thought. And they're showing themselves. They raised the flag here in Chicago, and they canceled graduations. Why let those bastards shut down graduations? Okay. I want to start the show here. We've got 3 incredible guests. Before I get to that, I want to just say that we reached 100,000 people live. We've been up to 2 million. And, of course, anytime that happens, I get my nards chopped off, And it's by design. It's an election year, so I'm being watched closely. God forbid you people hear anything other than the pre-scrubbed 3 branches of government. Lies, yeah. But I read an article today by Dr. Makis, and he says that the papers are out and that Pfizer had different batches for different people. And my wife has long maintained, and I've long maintained, the politicians didn't really get these shots. The corporate people, the elite, didn't really get these shots, did they? Well, according to this doctor, and again, I don't want to get my nards cut off, but Pfizer made batches of the mRNA vaccine that was different for their employees. Why would they do that? So if you're keeping score, if you're keeping count, I was right. The lab leak, natural immunity. Remember Jimmy Kimmel and all the rest? Ivermectin, because you got horse worms. Turns out ivermectin's a pretty incredible medicine. I had it and gave it to everybody. It saved some people, I believe. Ivermectin, yeah. So I was right about that. The lab leak, natural immunity, ivermectin, the mask BS. School closings were stupid. Boosters, ventilators, turbo cancers. I've been right about all this. The fact that kale was awful tasting, just a fad, and nobody would ever keep eating kale. I was right. And yet nobody tells me I'm right. And you see what happens on the social media when I talk about these things? Oh, you're blah, 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 blah. They got nothing. They just go low. When they go low, I go high, or I just get high. All right. Should we bring on the guest yet? Oh, he's there. Look at that. I remember that clean cut young man. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm blessed by the best. And Seth, how did we do? Did we sell some beer for you?
We're always selling beer, man.
But did we help? I think we helped sell some beer.
I'm sure you did. It was last time I was on. There was a lot of things going on, but I'd have to look back. But I would have faith to say yes for sure.
Some people complained that the beer didn't get there very quick.
That was our Trump mugshot beer. Yeah, that was quite a little bit of a debacle. We sold so much of it in such a short amount of time there, and we ran into some production delays and stuff like that. But we have made sure we're taking care of everyone, and matter of fact, we ended up sending out a lot of people even did chargebacks because they didn't get it quick enough.
So what's the latest? Show us the product. This is the guy after Bud Light that came out and made a ton of money. Serving what's it called?
Conservative Dad's Ultra Right beer.
Ultra Right beer. I like taking that to here on the North Shore of Chicago. I like taking it to little parties with people and handing out. And what is this? Some people love it. Some people hate it. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to check in with you and Seth. God, I want to look like you in a movie. In the Man Cow movie, you'll play me. You'll have to grow a goatee. Hold up the beer again. Why don't you pop one? Drink one. Come on.
Well, these are warm. I would have brought one out of the fridge if I was going to do that. But
if you want to get drunk,
it's not that warm.
You know, when you're, I was over in Scotland and they don't like that we drink our stuff cold.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of places like that do drink it actually warm. And they say the true measure of a beer is if you can drink it room temperature and it still be good. And you can drink this at room temperature. Some people.
Well, I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out. You know, it always ends up warm. So, what's the website? Is it up there? Yeah. There's the. Yeah,
it's ultrarightbeer.com. We actually have a new commercial coming out later this week.
Can we show it? Do we have it?
You don't have it. We haven't launched it yet. We're putting it out this week, but I think you and your audience will definitely appreciate it.
There's listen, there it is right there. Listen, how are you feeling about things? I talked to a guy that's a very close friend with Trump's and very close. And he said, look, Trump lost, and Trump knows he lost. This is what this friend of his, and I've heard Trump call him, so I know it's real. And he was saying, not a chance. And he's really in the inner circle. And now he's saying right now, Trump wins by 20%. And this guy's not always on Trump's side and he's friends with Trump.
I don't know about the 20% thing. So I came from, I worked elections most of my life prior to becoming a beer man. But I do believe he definitely wins this race. Now, and we ought to remember, like in 2016, it was a very slim margin.
We're going to talk about this. Our next guest more. I probably, I don't want to end it now. I mean, I don't want to go into it now, but we're going to talk about that. And I still don't believe it's going to be Biden. Maybe I'm crazy. I just think this convention.
I think there's a chance it's not. I mean, they're pretty screwed if it is. But who do they replace?
I can't believe they would run this guy.
They've gone pretty far. I will say this: it will be a unbelievably historic moment for them to somehow pull him out at the convention at this point. I'm not saying it couldn't happen; it could, but it'd still be a wild scenario. But who do they replace him with? Kamala?
No,
greasy-haired dude in California.
Newsom.
Yeah, all this bullshit about him. He is not a great candidate. He is absolutely not a great candidate.
Oh, he's a great candidate.
No, just because he's a slick-haired, smooth liar doesn't make. I think a lot more people see through that type than some are willing to admit.
He chills me to my bone, but I've been part of exorcisms. He's a liar at another level. I don't think I've ever seen, even in Chicago politics. But you're wrong, man. And I always thought when it came to abortion, we all kind of agreed. Everybody. Abortion's awful. You don't want that. No. Right. I was wrong. I believed in free speech. Well, no. They yelled about free speech, and I supported them. I supported the left. You should be able to burn an American flag, man. This is a free country. Oh, no. It's all bullshit. They don't want free speech. They want their free speech. They're not passive about babies. It's all part of their sacrifice to their demon god. And that crazy liar that's destroyed California, they want that nationwide. You understand? They must destroy us so that they can rebuild us in the new communist image. C.S. Lewis talked about when everybody's running towards the cliff committing suicide, if you say stop and go the other way, you come off as insane. We come off as insane, but we're right. I want to thank you. Get rid of them. Seth, thank you. Put up the website again. I have a few more things I want to say before. Thank you. We'll have you back and we'll play your new commercial. But 3 branches of government, right, folks? Corporations, media, and pedos. Boy, I heard about that. It turns out it was true. And I remember for 20 years on the radio, boycott Disney, blah, blah, blah. I thought, come on. Boy, were they right. Were they right, huh? College kids chanting death to America. Happened on my daughter's campus, and her roommate's Jewish. And, I said, look, you can be part of any of this Hamas stuff. Do it. You're an adult. Do it. But don't come home and I'm not paying for your college, and you don't ever need to talk to me again. And do I mean it? Yes, I do. Not enough parents need to say, no, you're not an it. No. My girls, when they're 5, they thought they were kitty cats. You're a kitty cat. Let's get an operation and get you some ears. Yeah, these same people want us to pay. Put that back up, Ralph. I didn't have time to see it. The same civil unrest could postpone. Oh, well, they're planning on it, aren't they? And they're planning on bird flu. This is another thing. Remember, you heard it here. If you already think it, okay, chicken face for the bird flu. It's coming. They're going to come up with something because they cannot win elections fair and square. Look at your gases. Look at your gas prices. Look at everything you're paying. Look at the food prices. He can't win. So death to America, but they want me to pay for their college. Oh, and another Boeing whistleblower. Was he suicided? Another whistleblower for Boeing is it's a mystery. If a woman sleeps with 10 guys, they call her a slut. If a man does that, what is he? He's homosexual. Yeah. I was at a bar, my friend John Felino, and had a nice couple of, what were we drinking? Redbreast whiskey. And a girl scoots in next and puts her arm around me. Let's take a picture. No. I don't want that on the internet. And I did that a couple of times, and I feel bad. And then I went to Devo. I think they have one more show, and Devo is done forever. They gave me this drumhead. Mark Mothersbaugh, Mr. Monster Bomb drew a self-portrait. They are not men, they are Devo. And it was at the Riviera, which I don't like. And I have had several instances of my life in claustrophobia. And I had to get out of there. I was getting crushed. And a woman comes over, hey, puts her arm around me. Hey, let's dance. And no, get off me. And I try to be nice to everybody. I try to love everybody. Look, I'm here because of the fans. I'm here because people listen to that stupid radio show of mine. I've been very blessed. I don't mean to be rude to anybody. If you were at Devo and you're the woman, I said, no. That's not me. That's not me. I was a Boy Scout. They're not called the Boy Scouts anymore, so another thing I don't have to care about. Musk said, this is the last election that Americans get to vote in. This is our last American election. 10 million illegals have been let in. Let's go to our next guest. Timothy Alberino is coming up. You do not want to miss this one. CERN and the dimensions being cut into. The book is Birthright, which is not being shown very well, but there it is. How do UFOs and angels and demons relate? This is a runaway bestseller. The guy is a superstar. You're going to want to stay tuned. All right, let's go to our next guest. We're going to talk elections. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You're a beautiful woman. I didn't know what you looked like. Is that did I cross the line already?
No, that's great. I thank you.
You're very photogenic. You're very photogenic. Much more than that other beer guy was. I'm the ugly one tonight. Alberino's a good-looking guy. I mean, I'm really the stooge here. Anyway, yeah. So Elon Musk said this is the last American election, and I have read that there are the way the law is written, all these illegals can vote, and what will happen to them? Absolutely nothing. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to slice this. Yeah, what people don't really fully understand, I think, is that this really started back in 1993 through the National Voter Registration Act, also called Motor Voter, which is where we began to do voter registration when you went to go get your driver's license renewed or get your driver's license for the first time. But that's just one piece of it. Now, all social service programs have voter registration applications attached to them. That's been going on for decades.
Right.
It was given a turbo boost through the executive order that Biden put out in 2021, calling on all federal agencies to make sure that they were helping with voter registration. And then we see the crumbling up at the border and knowing that all of those migrants are being given access to social service programs that have voter registration applications baked into them. And then taking it one step further, recognizing that states don't have access to the data that they need to make citizenship determinations. Taking it one step further, in the end of March, Dick Durbin and his cohorts there in the Senate sent a letter to President Biden saying that they were imploring him to make a direct path for citizenship for the good of the country. I believe that lays a predicate for, and I hate to say it, but I believe it lays a predicate for a potential executive order to come sometime between now and the election, granting amnesty and citizenship rights. It's been done before. There's precedent for this.
Wow.
If that occurs, we will. I mean, then Musk will be right. This will cause so much chaos and pandemonium that the ability to peel back the layers of what it means to be a citizen will never be looked at the same way again. And that is because there's ambiguity in the law. It's also because we've seen our courts not stand firm. We've seen our borders go defenseless. I mean, it just goes on and on. This feels very much like that a multi-million person voting bloc is being groomed for such a time as November.
Look, Biden wants Obamacare for all 10 million illegals that are here. They're called, what are they calling them? Visitors or welcome? Or newcomers.
New Americans.
Okay, I've heard new Americans, newcomers. And the idiots here, they dropped off 1,000 in my neighborhood, 200 the night before, 200 the night before that. So that's 1,400 that I've seen. And people are out there giving them money, and it's unbelievable. And the trouble I have getting any kind of care, and I had to wait, and I had to go without insurance. But these people line up and get everything for free. I have to get a real ID, yet illegals don't need any identification. Yeah. That's why when you go through the airport, it's all bull crap. And that's usually, I cannot believe, if anyone's been through the London airport, man, it is like going through a jihad obstacle course or something. So 9/11 happened, and now it's the irony of it all. And the flag is being raised here in my state here, in my city, Chicago, for Hamas, and they're chanting death to America. Really unbelievable. And of course, when you say anything, I hear things like, your glasses are stupid, or your goatee looks ugly, or nobody ever has anything. Yeah, it's all, you spelled a word wrong. You spelled lesson, but you meant lesson. But it's okay. It's okay. Mancow, this is off Instagram. Mancow, a nation that does not execute traitors or shoot invaders is already over. It does feel like it's already over. I thought you'd jump on there, Catherine.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought the screen went black for a second. I'm like, are we done? Was that the end?
No, that's just me.
I don't feel that way. I do feel like we have kicked the can to the edge of the abyss. We are right there. But I do feel like I see Americans waking up. I feel like I see God moving in important ways. So make no mistake, this is do or die. This November is do or die. Yeah. But I do think we still have a choice. It may be slim, but we do still have a choice. There is still hope. We just must fight. If there was ever a doubt that your involvement mattered, listen, look no further than this conversation. It matters. We must vote and serve, because if not now, then we may never have another shot.
Someone said the military is going to be looking into our elections and we have nothing to worry about. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some of the cross-dressing generals and stuff. I don't know that I really trust. I love our military. By the way, and I don't mean to be. I agree with what you're saying, Catherine. So before I come off as a jerk here, do you know that every election in my life, there's never, and I remember Reagan and Carter, and I even remember Nixon, is the most important election. I mean, every single election, it's the most. But I really do think we are on the edge of. We've got a lot of invaders, and we are looking at the end. And
I agree. The fact pattern suggests that this is a game over if we don't.
The trend is not your friend, and it may be time to plan an exit. And once they go digital, Catherine, anyone that questions digital currency, anyone that questions will just be simply, you'll be broken.
That's what this is.
This is
You're
coming.
Right, friend. That's what this is all about.
You need
trillions and trillions of dollars.
You need IDs. Right, so. You need IDs for everything, but not for voting. And here comes 10 million voters, when oftentimes it's down to hundreds or thousands to decide to vote. This was all by design.
That's right. So they don't want ID now, but when the CDBC comes through, you better believe they're all going to have ID tied to everything and controlled in ways we can't even imagine. So we need to take the hill for freedom while we can.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Half of my Jewish friends Biden, man, Biden. I don't get it. You see the Islamic flag, you see this flag being raised down your street, and you're going to stick with that. I don't get it. Let's say goodnight to her, Ralph. And if you're keeping score, folks, Banana Republic scorecard. Here we go. Banana Republic scorecard. Here we go. You ready? Banana Republic scorecard. Eric Holder defies Congress. That's okay. Peter Navarro defies Congress. He's in jail. Hunter Biden, come on. The laptop matters. The Hunter laptop matters. He defies Congress. It's okay. Steve Bannon does it. He goes to jail. See how that works in the Banana Republic? I want to tell you something that's, I think I'll wait for this and give it to, and talk about it with Timothy. We'll do the show intro. Hang on, Ralph. I haven't even started the show yet. This is just the warm up. It's going to be a great show. I wanted to share, I know that whenever the word book is mentioned, people tune out. You're going to want to stick around for Alberino, aliens, demons, spaceships. Oh my. But also CERN, are they cutting through to other dimensions? He's not concerned about it, but a lot of people I talk to are. This is one of the finest books I've ever read. You'll never find it, but if you liked Lost in Space, Andy Griffith, Star Trek, Bruce Willis, and this guy was a writer in Hollywood, and he never really hit. But My So-Called Life, E-Class, and this guy gets kicked around. This would be a great movie. And talks about what happened on the street in Mayberry. It's pretty great. This is another great book. I had the author on. This is some people that got a Dybbuk box, a box of demons during World War II to kill the Nazis. And some supernatural things happened. It's a true story. The Dybbuk box. I believe it was made into a pretty lousy movie. This is another one that I like. And I want to tell you, ayahuasca and all this stuff, some of these things I have tried, and I don't recommend it. I think you open yourself up to things that you may not want to be part of you, that will be attached to you. You should be very careful. But this guy, great writer, wrote a book, Daniel Pinchbeck, and he was on my show quite frequently, but I want to remind you of this book, Breaking Open the Head. And so it's different encounters he had in different jungles and did these psychedelic experiences and what he encountered. It's a great read. So there you go. Boom. Pinchbeck, Breaking Open the Head, The Dybbuk Box, true story by who? Jason Haxton, and E-Class. You'll never be able to find this one. My So-Called Career in Hollywood. If you love old TV, man, it's something else. And just one of the greatest books of the last decade, if not the greatest book I've read, is Birthright, Timothy Alberino. Should be a movie. This guy should be a movie star. He's going to join us next. The Oscars went woke, and now they're broke. Do you know that 30% of Oscar voters are not American? And they need $500 million to survive. They're begging $500 million to survive the Oscars. And of course, I saw the new version of Talented Mr. Ripley, and the guy is played by Sting's daughter. It's a guy, but everybody acts like it's a man through the whole movie, and a fist fight and everything. And this Sting's daughter, petite little thing, is fighting back and with men. I love these movies where women take multiple punches to the face. I'm telling you how many punches I take to the face by The Rock or Jason, any of these guys, Dolph Lundgren. I'll tell you how many, boom, I'm done. That's it. These women take 30 punches to the face. Yeah. Okay. All right. Should we start the show? Pull the string. Let's go. Start the show. Start the show. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you do that before you tune in. This is where the angels and the devils fight, and they're choosing up sides tonight. Me, I'm part man, part monkey, part mystery. And the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. Who will win tonight? I think God's winning with me right now. What do you think? Come on in. Let the show begin. I have a theory that women wear yoga pants or do yoga. They wear yoga pants to excite. God, I can't imagine being 18 in the world with yoga pants. Woo! Lucky being 18 right now. But of course, all the chemicals in your food and all the online porn and everything else you don't even notice, fellas. Oh man, had we had yoga pants when I was 18. But women do yoga so they can talk about yoga. And Greeks, their favorite thing about being Greek is talking about being Greek. And vegans always have to tell you Boy, I find that to be a very unhealthy lifestyle, in my personal opinion. But boy, they love telling you. By the way, a woman that's a free spirit, that means you're not going to see your kids and she's going to sleep with your friends. Just so you know, I'm a free spirit. Run. TCM Classics, Bob Osborne. Remember him on my show? Bob Osborne. Who was the guy we had on from inside the actor's studio? What was that guy's name? I can't remember, but he was great. TCM, man, classics. Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, and Chud. Yeah, they aired Chud. Another sign of the end of the world. All right, pull the strings. Let's bring in Alberino. Let's do this. Very excited to have young Al. Look at that movie star. Look at that good-looking guy. Man, I'm not gay. I'm not headed that way, but I cast him in a movie. Timothy, how are you, my friend?
Yo, man, Kyle. Nice to be with you again.
Nice to be with you. Now, my friend Barsom and others, and I've heard it, and I was with all the Ancient Alien guys, Burns crew, Kevin Burns crew, who you knew, and we've talked about this. I just want to hit it again because it drives me out of my mind. The White City here in Chicago, they tore it down. We couldn't build that again. Yes, we could. The building in Peru there, where you and I have both been. I love Peru. They couldn't do that now. Yes, they could. We couldn't build pyramids now. I've heard it my whole life, Timothy, and I'm sorry, it's bullshit. I saw how they did it. We could do these things now. We don't want to. Okay? Wendy's go up in a week. We don't have 100 years in endless slave labor. That's why we don't see buildings like we used to see. Now, do you disagree with me?
It all depends. It all depends what building we're talking about. I mean, if we're talking about constructions that were devised by the Inca, then certainly we can do that. But if we're talking about some of the megalithic constructions I've seen around the world, especially in Peru, we've tried to duplicate it with modern tools. There have been attempts by Masons to reproduce, for example, the polygonal type megalithic walls in Peru.
You got to look up. You got to look up. You look like Lonnie Millsap. You look blind. There you go. Look up.
You can do it. You can do it to some extent. I mean, you can build something that's approximating those walls.
Yeah.
But to build it to the same grandeur, with the same precision, and there's certain things about these walls that, for example, let's be specific. Let's talk about Sacsayhuaman. That we still have no idea how they were able to do some of this. So we would first have to understand how they did it before we could even attempt to do it in the same way ourselves. So I would say that yes, there's a lot of stuff going around online where people say we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that today, when most of it we could. We are perfectly capable of building almost anything we see in the ancient world today. I would even say the Great Pyramids, we could build those. It would take a lot of time and money. But I think we could build them. But there are certain constructions, certain complexes. Baalbek, for example, we couldn't build Baalbek. We could not lay those foundations.
Where is that?
We don't have a crane that can pick up in Lebanon.
Okay. Well, would you mention that place in Peru again? I say Sacsayhuaman. What's it called?
Sacsayhuaman.
I felt such supernatural power there. And even my priest, a Catholic priest, said, yeah, there is a real vortex there of power. And I felt it in the Middle East too. And I feel it in New Orleans. There's certain places on earth, I think, that are supernatural thermometers. All right. If I recommend your book to a Christian, Birthright, are they going to be offended?
Some of them probably.
Why?
Because my book, I think, challenges the conventional Christian worldview. And that is a view that is expressed, I think, by the word anthropocentrism, an anthropocentric worldview, which is what most Christians have, which places man at the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's a view that takes the perspective that everything happening in the cosmos is revolving around us, that we are the central character.
I don't believe
story,
that.
if you will.
I don't believe that.
And this is the way that most people think, most Christians think. I would say it's the conventional view. And when you upset that, once you upset that view and you make all kinds of other things possible, it's paradigm shifting, shattering, and it's very uncomfortable.
We serve a big God, and I don't have any problem thinking there's endless life everywhere. And that
you're in the minority. That's not.
I am in a minority. It seems like just turn on TV.
I don't think anyone has ever accused Mancow of conventional thinking.
Okay, brother. So look, going back years talking to you, my brother had an alien encounter. Robert Fleischman from the band Journey has had multiple encounters, and then you hear, and I've interviewed people that had demonic encounters, and they're the same thing, man. You don't think these demons are disguising themselves, or
No,
you think they're different? You think they're different things?
Completely.
Are they? Let's go through this quickly, just because we've done this before. I don't want to bore myself or you or the audience, but you think that these grays are interdimensional, or do you think they're off planet?
Potentially. They might be both. Why couldn't they?
Are
be
they
both?
under the water? Are they under the ocean?
Absolutely.
I've heard about that forever. People that deep sea fish. A guy I talked to today that went into the Bering Sea, but and was on all those boats you see on the fishing shows. But a lot of these guys, not this guy, but a lot of these guys talk about seeing entire cities under the water. What looks like entire cities.
Yeah, no, there's no question that there are undersea bases, and I would say non-human undersea bases. We have them too. We have deep underground military bases here within the continental United States and Alaska as well, and then we have undersea bases. But I think that there are non-human undersea bases without question.
Okay, why are they here?
Well, we have to. I mean, when you say we may be talking about more than one. Let's call them species.
The mantis, the grays, all of them. Is it to study us, or is it to take over?
The mantis and the grays are basically the same group, and I think that you mentioned Robert Fleischman. His stories are typical abduction stories, and they're people who are being abducted. Almost in every case, are being abducted by grays, and it's a very physical experience. Yeah. When you're abducted, you're not there anymore. You are no longer present at the place of abduction. You're gone. But
some people say, well, that's the demons causing hallucinations in your bedroom. You don't really leave your bed.
No, you are gone. If your mom or dad comes to check on you, you're no longer there. And then oftentimes you return back. They return you back to your house, but sometimes they don't put you back in your bedroom. You're left outside banging on the window.
That happened to
your parents have to let you in at nighttime, or they drop you off the wrong house at your neighbor's house. I mean, it just goes on and on. There's a lot of
the story is, Spielberg collects these things, these little. We don't know what they are. Microchip. What are they?
The implants.
The implants. And Fleischman has one. And when the doctor goes to get it,
it's evasive.
Moves. It's evasive inside of his body.
And it's not rejected by the body.
And he can touch, and you can see it under his skin, and then you see it move.
I've never seen that. That's wild.
Well, it moves. I mean, it's not like it looks like the entity under the skin. But
no,
that's a movie. That's a movie reference.
They're evasive.
Okay, so what's new, Timothy? What's new? News Nation did a great job. There was hearings. And, of course, I also think if we're being told, why are they telling us? They must have another ulterior reason. But what do you think the latest is? What's the latest news in the world of these creatures?
Are we talking about disclosure on the disclosure front?
Space aliens. What's the newest? What's the newest info? In your world, what's the newest? Let's talk about anything.
So we can be a little bit more specific. So I don't know if you're aware, but I was in Peru last year, but I wasn't up in studying the megaliths. I was in the Amazon. I was in the Peruvian Amazon up in the region of Alto Nanay. And the reason why I was there is because I was investigating. I was a couple of days up the river. I went to a village called San Antonio de Pintuyacu with my friend, with my colleague Doug Thornton, and we were investigating what's being described as the face peeler phenomenon. Have you heard of that?
No.
You haven't?
No, the face peeler, no.
Geez, how much time do we have? Well, last year...
I mean, you've been on the show before to talk about the people that came in on these flying sleds or whatever.
Okay, then we have
look like the green goblin.
We have discussed that. So that's
they're the face peelers.
Very disturbing phenomenon that was happening and is still happening to some extent. It kind of migrated over into the Brazilian Amazon as of late. By the way, that village, San Antonio de Pintuyacu, as you know, we equipped them with a bunch of strategic equipment, and it's all quiet there. Nothing has happened since we went. The phenomenon seems to have moved on. There was reports.
Are they peeling faces? Is that why you call them face peelers?
Yeah, they've. Well, I mean, I think
skin people as predator.
They might be using the face peeler denomination. It's a myth. It's a well, let's not call it a myth. It's folklore. And I heard it when I was in the jungle, when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, living in the Amazon. And it's basically like the boogeyman. In the villages, in the communities, in the jungle, they would tell their kids, don't go out at night by yourself because the face peelers will get you. And the face peelers were, depending on who you talk to, some of the villagers would tell you that they are space aliens, and others will tell you that they're gringos, organ harvesting. And this goes back to the mid 80s. And yes,
why were you in the jungle at 18? Why did you decide to go?
Oh God, that's a very long story.
Yeah.
The short story is I got deported from England.
You're from England?
No, I got deported. I got deported when I was 18 years old.
But
Me and my friends.
You're a modern Indiana Jones. What did the movie inspire you? What inspired you to go do this kind of swashbuckling lifestyle?
Well, part of the reason is because I got deported from England because I was trying to get to Ireland. That was my dream as a young man. I wanted to go to Ireland. And long story short, they deported me. I flew in, landed in Gatwick. They turned us around and called us Yankees and deported us the next day. And I was super depressed. And they're just, my dad was a pastor of a non-denominational church in Cleveland, Ohio. And it just so happened that the next week after I got home, there was this guy speaking at his church. He's a Mexican-American named Alfonso. He happened to be a missionary in Peru, Tarapoto, Peru, to be specific.
So there you go.
And the door to Ireland shut and the door to Peru opened. And so I went down with him, and it just suited me much better than life in the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. But that's the short story. The long story, which I won't tell, is I had a burning desire to encounter God, have like a burning bush type encounter with God. That's the long story.
Did you have it?
Crazy story.
Did you have it?
Yes, I did.
But I wish, Timothy, forgive me, but I want you to be good on this. You're closing your eyes or something. Look up at me.
When I think I look down, it's just a habit of mine.
But it doesn't look good.
Well, it's a habit. I'll have to try.
I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it. It's like my kids. That's a habit. Well,
a lot of people look up when they think. I look down when I think.
Okay. Well, okay. So did you have your burning bush moment?
I did, but not exactly that. But yeah, that's a very, very complicated story. It takes 6 hours to tell that story. So, but the short
I have nowhere to go. So folks, go get a drink and we'll be back with 6 hours of Timothy Alberino. Are you working on a new book?
Yeah, actually, I don't have it in front of me here. I'm producing my own edition of the Book of Enoch, which is going to be out next week.
That's right.
I wrote
Jesus quoted Enoch. Other people in the Bible quote Enoch.
Indirectly references Enoch.
Yeah.
Peter indirectly references Enoch. Jude directly references Enoch. It's verbatim. He has a quote.
Early Bibles had the Book of Enoch, correct?
No. Early Bibles had some of the other Dead Sea Scrolls.
They had the book.
Content.
Was there a book of Jesus as a young man?
No, I've never heard of a book of Jesus.
I've heard that.
I don't know. Maybe that's floating around out there somewhere. But Enoch.
No, I heard that a bird dies in his schoolyard and he lays hands upon it as a kid and it comes to life. That was one of the things that got.
I've never heard of that. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of there's the Book of Thomas. So there's different Gnostic books out there.
Right. Our Bible is condensed from what it was once. So the book Enoch. Certainly. Who was Enoch? Because I have read numerous books on Enoch, but
the seventh from Adam. Enoch was the seventh from Adam. Now, it's important to understand that there are 3 books of Enoch, 2 of which were certainly published after the birth of Christ, portions of which were definitely published before Christ, which is important because it contains some of the most remarkable prophecies regarding the Christ. There's the Christological content in First Enoch, which is also known as the Ethiopic Enoch, is absolutely mind-blowing when you consider the life of Jesus of Nazareth. But First Enoch, portions of it, I think, are authentic. First Enoch now, and portions of it I think are the product of Merkaba mysticism, but it tells the story of the Watchers, the descent of the
Watchers are who? Space aliens?
The fallen angels. Space aliens is kind of maybe not the best term, but I would certainly classify them as extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
certainly
they are. Pre-mankind, pre-natural. They hate us, and they're watching.
Mankind certainly they pre-exist mankind. I mean, angels pre-exist mankind. We've had this
right. So this is early. This is early world history that Enoch reported, and it was at one point on Earth well known. Enoch was well known.
Enoch may be regarded as the first and greatest prophet among the Hebrews.
So what did he witness? Quickly.
Well, Enoch, he records the story of the Watchers in First Enoch, and then there were
giants. He talks about the giants.
Yes, and
does he talk about them impregnating Earth women?
The Watchers, the
Watchers impregnate women, and the giants are their offspring.
That's right.
And they would rip apart women when they were born.
There's nobody really knows, but I mean, there's in the Keber Nagast, that's what they say, which is the national epic of Ethiopia. But the Book of Enoch is, as I said, it's a very intricate document, and First Enoch is the only one that I'm interested in. Although in my book, I do publish second and third.
What's the
Enoch
book called, Timothy?
Huh?
What's the book called?
It's called the Book of Enoch
by Timothy Alberino.
I do it. I collaborate with Luke Rogers and Nate Henry from Blurry Creatures.
Oh, I love those guys.
It's a collaboration. Yeah, it's a collaboration between the three of us, and we have a publishing company called Relic Press. And this is the first volume in a series that we're doing. We're gonna publish all kinds of ancient texts.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. The history that's been taken from us or hidden from us and rewritten. And Enoch was there, and this is good stuff. I don't know why I'm mentioning this, but I saw the Bob Marley movie, and they never mentioned that he really became saved at the end of his life and preached about a lot of things that, well, anyway, that never gets quoted now. Same thing with Malcolm X. Isn't it interesting that he rejected all of that and became a Christian and said he was wrong? And but
I was not aware of that. Malcolm X, you say?
Well, yeah, they'll never look it up. They'll never quote that. 41% of Americans feel that a civil war is coming soon. What do you think?
Man, I don't know. You know, people have been talking about civil war for decades.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Hope we fix things at the voting booth, although I don't have much faith.
I hope
I had a guy say, why are you talking about on your podcast all this stuff? 50 years ago, nobody even had warm showers. And I thought, wow, we have warm showers. I didn't have that 50 years ago. And I thought, wait a minute, I was around 50 years ago and I took warm showers. What are you talking about? Timothy, I'm convinced Americans wouldn't know tyranny if they jacked up all of our taxes, destroyed our economy, jailed our politicians they didn't agree with, had teachers pressure kids into sterilization, protected pedos,
welcome to America.
Gave all our money to other countries and allowed 10 million invaders in and let criminals do whatever they want, let them out. I'm convinced Americans wouldn't know tyranny if it even happened to them.
That sounds suspiciously like today.
Maybe I'll read this again. It's a great book, Birthright.
You know what?
Yes.
You talk about not birthright, Civil War. I think people should remember what happened during the COVID years, how many of our best soldiers were discharged because they wouldn't take the vax. And now, Obama, if you recall, Obama got rid of a lot of our generals. He got rid of a lot. He cleaned house. He got rid of a lot of the good generals, all the ones that would dissent the kind of tyranny you're talking about. And then COVID comes along and they get rid of all of our good soldiers.
Bird flu's coming. Bird flu's the next pandemic. Bird flu's coming.
Yeah, they're already working it up.
They're getting you ready. Getting you ready for new fear. Fear the portal airport that controls the masses.
Yeah, but I think they failed largely with the. I don't know if we say vax on your show, but I think they failed largely with that.
It's not worth it to me. Yeah, no, folks know the truth. There's stories every day. If you don't know, and if you're going to get this stuff, good luck to you. I'm going to miss you, and you're not going to like. I had a friend today, my friend Jeff, and Jeff, I'm getting boosted. Good. I just want to say to people, not Jeff, but just people in general, you won't like turbo cancer. I've lost several people to it now. Mysterious, this
amazing
turbo cancer.
Nobody knows where this turbo cancer came from.
It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Turbo cancer. Yeah. Where did I don't know. And ivermectin, they're now saying, yeah. And
even what's his name? He's on News Nation now. What's his name? He used to be on CNN.
Chris Cuomo.
Cuomo is now admitting that. He took ivermectin.
It was all just like we said. And Timothy,
the horse paste. He took the horse paste.
The hatred that you and I have received, the hatred that I've received. And again, I say, well, what about this? And they say, your goatee looks stupid. You dye your hair. Ouch. Yeah, that one really got me. Have you heard this term? What is it? Philanthropath?
No.
A philanthropath is, this is what I call, not Fauci, but Gates, but they're both Bond level villains in my mind. which is a psychopath that acts like they're a philanthropist, a philanthropath. And listen to the science. Look, that guy doesn't have a degree in anything, but we had listened to him. I would love to see a world where Fauci and these guys get put on trial. And I'll tell you, Nuremberg too. And I'll tell you something else, brother. Just clicking through and Predator's on, which is a perfect movie. And I just remember my heart. I hung out with Schwarzenegger a time or two. Was at a Planet Hollywood opening with him. Got a picture with him. And God, man, Schwarzenegger. My whole life, I'm of that generation. And I just remember, just a day or so ago, going through the channels, and there's Predator, and I just heard him, "Screw you, freedom! Screw you, freedom!" And I hate him now. I can't stand him. De Niro, that little punk. Screw you, freedom. Do you remember Schwarzenegger saying that about our freedom?
Yeah. And I think he regrets that. He definitely regrets that now. He's been trying to walk that back for a long time. Yeah. He's come out and apologized.
I don't have any mercy for these bastards. I don't have any mercy for these bastards.
We all know exactly what he meant. I
mean, Stern sitting inside for 4 years, and exactly. And the lies they told, and the vitriol, and Kimmel saying we shouldn't. If we haven't gotten all of it, we shouldn't be allowed to get any health care at all.
I just hope people don't forget. I hope people don't forget what they did to us.
They already have. And Timothy, hope you had fun tonight. It's good seeing you.
I did.
And you need to learn to think with your eyes open. I felt like I had Ronnie Millsap on. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling.
I'm reading a book here as I'm talking to you.
Well, that's rude. Talia Shire did that. Talia Shire did that on my show from the Godfather movies and Adrian and the Rocky movies. And what? I'm interviewing her on the air. What? I said, get out of here. Get out of here. And I'm going to get out of here. As my mom used to say, shut up.